How's it going, everybody? Swanee and Cookie are back again with another podcast, and today's topic we are going to be discussing the upcoming Season 2, Part 2. Now that Solo is out, we can have somewhat an idea of what we might get in Part 2 since it's going to be Solo-based. But the main part that we'd like to talk about is the new map that we're going to get, or new world, according to Ben. So we're going to kind of get into spoiler territory when it comes to talking about the movie, because we kind of have to talk about the different locations. We're not going to give away really anything about the major plot, but we're obviously going to be talking about the different planets that they visit in the film. So if you don't want to be spoiled, be cautious of this video. But with all that said, Cookie, let's start us. You can start us off. What do you think could be a possibility for a new map or different maps for the second part of the season?
There's a lot of possibilities. Like Solo has I think 4 different planets or 4 different locations that they're on at one point or another in the movie. But none of them are particularly great options. There was one that a battle took place on, but you couldn't really see much of anything. There just wasn't a lot to be seen. Plus, the Empire was fighting the natives, so it wasn't like, and it wasn't that epic a battle. It didn't last that super long. So, I mean, I doubt they use that map just because you can't really tell what's going on all that well anyway. It's just like a lot of dust. As far as there's another battle that takes place on, in mud, on Kessel. But it's really enclosed, and it's not really a Galactic Assault kind of map unless they really stretch it, which they could. I mean, they could make it a lot bigger than it looks in the movie, but I think that's the best guess I have is Kessel. Because for one, Kessel is a planet that's recognizable by Star Wars fans even before Solo. Now, maybe not recognizable as far as seeing it, but the name Kessel is recognizable. We've heard about the Kessel Run since the very first Star Wars movie. So I feel like that has a little bit of appeal in that way. And also, it does play a pretty big role in the Solo movie. So I think that's probably the most likely option if I was to take a guess, because there's not really another great option for Solo. And as far as anything outside of Solo, I'd be absolutely blown out of the world if Geonosis is the map they're talking about. So I think their best option for me is Kessel. That would be where I would put my guess on.
Okay. Well, the problem with Solo and any maps from Solo, the movie, is that there was no battles between Rebels and Empire anywhere. So it wouldn't really make sense if we had
the rebellion was barely even existent at this point.
There wasn't a rebellion, so
yeah.
It wouldn't make sense to use any of these locations to have a Galactic Assault or any kind of fight on. It just doesn't make sense because it didn't happen. Like, the only one that sort of made sense was that planet where you met Chewbacca, and they were like in the trenches and it was all muddy and stuff. But you don't even see who they're fighting. You just see a bunch of explosions and stuff, and all you see is trenches. So you don't even have an idea of what that map looks like.
No, not really.
Yeah, there was no fighting from the Empire on any of these maps. So it would be a huge stretch in a lore perspective. And even looking at the designs of these different planets that they went to, it wouldn't make sense to have a battle on any of these places. Like that one place, Kessel, where it was just all inside. So even if they made one of these maps, my guess is that it would be a small map for those smaller game modes that no one cares about, because why not? Why not give us a map for a small game mode that people don't care about? It would be for like Heroes vs. Villains and Strike and stuff, where obviously, yes, there's like few people that do play those, but the vast majority of players play Galactic Assault. So that would be pretty problematic. And then if we do get a Galactic Assault map on one of these locations, it would be kind of like a Jakku setup, where there's different layers inside. It wouldn't be like one of the good Walker Assault maps where you have to like defend the MTT or something, because I just don't feel like there would be any location where that would work.
Yeah,
And
it'll probably end up being similar to Tatooine or similar to maybe Starkiller Base, where it's just a, 3 objective thing where it doesn't involve, like you said, an MTT or an
yeah, or Death
AT-AT.
Star. And the problem with
Yeah,
those maps is that they don't last
they,
that long.
they end too fast. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a massive length problem there, which this map will probably have too. That being said, I'd be a little impressed to get a Galactic Assault map at all at this point, considering how vacant everything has been. I don't know if impressed is the right word, but I guess with my expectations where they're at, that would be pretty impressive.
I would say
at this point.
going forward with the lifespan of the rest of this game, if we get any Galactic Assault maps, they're probably going to be the shorter versions of those Galactic Assault maps, the ones that nobody likes. This is probably what we're going to get. So, yeah, if it's anything from Solo, my guess is that it's going to be a small map. And then...
Yeah, like they can expand Kessel. I mean, because what we see in Kessel would be the major, heart of it, but they can expand past that. Because, I mean... there's obviously been parts of certain maps that weren't necessarily in the films or that we necessarily saw, but they added on to parts that we have seen. So I imagine they could do that with Kessel and just expand it out from what we saw in the movie. I think that's the most likely option, and it would make a good small map for Heroes, Villains, Blast, and stuff. Although we still don't even have a Crate Heroes versus Villains map, so
Yeah. Well,
I don't know how.
Let's go even more realistic. All he said was that it's going to be a new world. So
yeah, I like how
asking
even more
a lot of
realistic
questions.
is. Let's get even more negative, but
Yeah,
I agree.
because it's the truth. He's been asking a lot of questions on Twitter about, do you guys want Battlefront 1 maps? And the majority of people are saying no. And then Ben's like, well, it seems pretty split down the middle to me. No one wants Battlefront 2015 maps at the cost of new content. We didn't buy this new game to get the old game's content. So watch us get Solus or something, because technically it's a new world. It's new to this game. Oof. So we just get
That's a massive stretch, even for EA. That's a pretty big stretch. I know EA has pretty much completely lied to us, but I don't think that was the intent from the start. They just lied because it turned out in the end they're like, yeah, we're not going to be able to get these promises out to these people because we don't care enough. This is more like he's saying it as if it's already done or near the end of production. So, and if he called it a new world and it's Sullust, it's a flat-out lie. It's not a new world, especially for us at all. So yeah, he's stretching hard. I mean, he could have. I mean, they never put a bunch of build-up into Bespin. They didn't put a bunch of build-up into Jabba's Palace. And these were new maps and stuff. Or not, excuse me. Not new, but old Battlefront 1 maps. And they didn't put any, extra pizzazz into that stuff before it happened.
Yeah,
so
everything we've gotten
I'd
so
be
far
surprised if it's
has
a
been
Battlefront,
a Battlefront 2015 map. Ewok Hunt was old. Bespin was old. Jabba's Palace was old. And what was the other one?
Did we get another one?
Bespin.
That might be it.
Jabba's Palace.
Yeah, I think that's it.
Okay,
we've
just
gotten
those three.
sunny versions and night versions of maps.
Oh yeah, if you count those.
Yeah, that's it.
But yeah, so and then somebody asked Ben. I saw on Twitter they were like, "Well, I really like that Hoth and Jakku from the first game," and Ben's response was, "We already have Hoth and Jakku in the game." So we're obviously not going to get Hoth, Endor, Jakku, any of the good maps from the last game. If we get, we're just going to get nothing but those small maps. That would maybe could leave Bespin from the last game or Scarif or something. But I mean, even those, Scarif wasn't that good of a map. I mean, it looked pretty and it felt good, but it was too short for Galactic Assault. So, I mean, who knows?
To that same problem of being too short. I'm curious about how he keeps calling it a new world. I might be overanalyzing this, but he says it all the time as a new world. He doesn't say, a new map or anything. He always accentuates that it's a new world. I'm curious as to why he does that. It might mean nothing, but it leaves me a little skeptical that might mean something more. But but also means something less because we're talking about EA. So I'm curious what he means when he always keeps saying a new world. He may mean exactly what we think he means, or I have a sneaky feeling he might mean something totally different, which more than likely will be a complete disappointment.
Well, so
whatever
far,
that actually is.
people have been able to squeeze out of Ben that we're going to get 4 new legendaries and 1 epic, I think. Or maybe it's 3 legendaries and 1 epic. But yeah, we're going to get like 4 or 5 different skins. And then he said we're going to get a new world. So odds are that's probably all we're going to get. Because that seems like a lot compared to the first part. I mean, 5 skins and a map.
Compared to the first part.
Yeah, the first part,
miracle.
We got basically nothing. So the second part, I don't see us getting any more than those skins in that map. But I don't really know what these skins could be either. The skins could be, like, obviously a young Han, a young Lando, probably a 2-belt Chewbacca, as dumb as that sounds.
It's very, very possible. It's
hopefully
certainly
that's
not
just an
something
epic.
They wouldn't have done.
2-belt. Yeah, they gave him arm patch.
A little bit more of
it makes sense to give him.
I guess, so he could.
One of them's kind of a spoiler to the movie.
Yeah, it's a pretty big spoiler. We'll leave that off for this one. We'll just spoil locations.
But I don't know. There could be like an extra skin, but I don't know what they would do. Guess they could just give a random skin to someone. But I don't know. So the skins are weird, and then the maps just because we thought about this while we were at work last night, and we can't really think of anything. And we asked the Discord, and people in the Discord were having trouble coming up with stuff too. Like there's just no options from the movie that would make sense. They could. The only thing I could see being cool is if they took that first area. I keep forgetting what it's called, but where he met Chewbacca, and they had those trenches. They could just really pull something out of their butt and just make something up, and then have trench warfare. I think that'd be pretty sick.
It'd be different. Yeah, I mean, we don't really have a big muddy mess of a war map that I'm aware of. I can think of off the top of my head. I mean, I guess there's dirty ones, but nothing with like that amount of mud and stuff going on. But I think it could be interesting. I think it's Myanmar or something like that. I think is what the name of the planet is.
But they don't understand. Like, I don't get how Ben is still asking us these questions. Like, do you want Battlefront 1 maps? After all this time, it is so obvious that the most popular mode is Galactic Assault. They knew that back at the Last Jedi DLC, if you call it DLC. They knew that back then because they released the stats, and they showed how many people played Galactic Assault compared to Starfighter Assault, and it was a lot more. So the most popular mode is Galactic Assault. So all they need to do is make a big map for Galactic Assault like they did with Crate, and then break it up into smaller chunks for the smaller maps, like they do with Hoth and
Mimban,
Crate.
By the way.
Okay.
Mimban, I think is the name of that planet we're talking about.
And then give us a long Galactic Assault map. The best maps are the ones that go on forever, because there's like an MTT or something you have to defend, like Naboo, Hoth, Endor. What else is there? Naboo, Hoth, Endor. There's like one more. Kashyyyk. Kashyyyk can go on the longest. Kashyyyk lasts forever. Crate it can last like 20 minutes or so.
I guess Crate has it too.
Yeah, and Crate can last a while. Those are all the best maps. Jakku, Death Star, Tatooine, all those other maps, they can end way too quickly. So all they have to do is just give us a long Galactic Assault map and heroes and star cards and stuff, and people will be happy with this game. But instead, they keep trying to just short us on content. They put out polls like this. Hey, do you guys want Battlefront 1 maps? There's like 5 people that are like, yeah, I want those maps. It'd be cool. Then Ben's like, all right, somebody asked for it.
Yeah, well, those 5 people are probably going on the idea of like, yeah, in addition to all this other stuff, sure, I'll take some old Battlefront 1 maps. What they don't realize is it's a replacement deal. It's not an and, it's an or. So you're not going to get both. So I'm sure everybody with the idea of an or, why in God's name would they want old content in the game over new content when they could just go back and play the first game if they loved it that much?
Pretty much.
It doesn't make any sense. It's incredibly dumb. question to even ask. So, I mean, I'm really curious what they're doing with this map thing. Because this is a very big deal. This is way more content than we've gotten since like you said, The Last Jedi. We haven't gotten anything close to a brand new map, a brand new world. So it's a big deal. Like, I mean, this could, I'm not saying this is going to revive the game, but at least it'll give some hope. Like, okay, they made something legitimate for this game that wasn't tied to microtransactions or something. It's a legitimate piece of content. That would be a very very big deal. Like, even if they add Castle, which wouldn't be like the most exciting thing to me, but hey, it's a new map. If they add it into most of the game modes, even that would be a pretty big deal for me. It would definitely show something on their side for once. But that's why I'm trying to figure out how they mess this up, because they're going to.
They will.
I can't have the littlest of faith in whatever this new world is. Is there any chance that it's news about news? Like they're saying,
that's for
like,
sure. They'll say
no,
stay tuned.
I'm saying like they say like, hey, we're gonna be. Did he say showcasing a new world? Are we gonna be releasing a new world? Because if he didn't explicitly say this new world's coming in June, we might be getting news about this new world.
That could
which then it could be Geonosis, and it could be coming out in the fall or something.
Well, I'm expecting a small map, and it's either going to be underwhelming because it's going to be for those smaller game modes, which aren't as popular, or it'll be a small map from the first game, is my guess. But let us know down in the comments, what do you guys think it's going to be? Do you think we're going to get another Battlefront 2015 map? Or are they going to give something new? Is it going to be Galactic Assault? Heck, they could throw in a Starfighter Assault map, which...
That would be impressive at this point.
That wouldn't go well with the
I'm
community.
Sorry. Yeah, I mean,
you'd be happy,
it certainly
but a
isn't what
lot
they're
of
asking
people
for.
don't
I would
play
be
Starfighter
happy.
Assault.
I'd be like, well, like, I mean, I guess that's nice, but this is not going to help the game very much.
Yeah. No.
They need to fix other things about Starfighter Assault before adding maps to it. I don't know.
So, let us know down in the comments. Give us your opinions. Thumb up the ones that sound the best to you guys. Help each other out. If you made it this far into the video, give it a thumbs up. Share it around with all your friends and family. Subscribe if you're new here. Check out another video, and we will talk to you guys in the next video.
Goopa Noopa.